There is a moment when a person stands at the edge of their life, gazing into the great unknown. A moment when the weight of their dreams presses against the armor of their fears. It is in this moment, not yesterday or tomorrow, but now, that a choice emerges. A choice to remain average or to step into the relentless, searing fire of transformation. And let me be clear. Average is not where you were born to stay. You see, the world around you has been engineered, built, and shaped by men and women who refuse to accept mediocrity. Edison didn't just tinker with glass and filaments, he redefined possibility with every failed experiment. Carnegie wasn't born into opulence. He rose from the soot and smoke of factories, driven by a vision larger than himself. Disney didn't just sketch mice and castles. He imagined entire worlds and then willed them into existence with nothing but grit, clarity, and an unwavering belief in the impossible. But here's the truth. No one dares to shout from the rooftops. Most people will never taste abundance. Not because they're unlucky, not because they lack talent, but because they lack the courage to shift their mindset. They are chained by patterns of thought so rusted into their being that even the glimmer of change terrifies them. And so they settle. They adjust their ambitions downward. They trade the relentless pursuit of greatness for the comfortable trap of good enough. But not you. Not today. Today is the day you dismantle the lies that have shackled your potential. Today is the day you crack open the door to a new reality where average is unacceptable and abundance is inevitable. Because here's what the world doesn't tell you. Abundance isn't a gift handed to the chosen few. It's a state of mind, a fierce declaration whispered into the void, a commitment to see beyond circumstances and into the realm of infinite possibility. And if you want it, truly want it, you must be willing to do what most refuse to even consider. You must learn to command your mind, to recognize that every thought you permit to linger is a seed that will either bloom into a garden of prosperity or fester into a jungle of excuses. Hill said it best, "Whatever the mind of man can conceive and believe, it can achieve." That isn't poetic fluff, it's a law as certain as gravity. You're either feeding thoughts of wealth, growth, and clarity, or you're surrendering to thoughts of scarcity, confusion, and resignation. So let me ask you, what thoughts are you entertaining right now? Are they thoughts of doubt, fear, hesitation? Thoughts that say I'm not enough or I'll fail again? Or are they thoughts laced with the quiet conviction of someone who knows that destiny is not a matter of chance, but a matter of choice? Because the mind, my friend, is not a passive receiver of information. It is a forge, a relentless fire that bends and shapes raw belief into tangible results. And if you do not seize control of it, if you do not master the art of intentional thinking, then life will hand you a narrative you never wrote, and you'll spend your days reading from a script that wasn't yours to begin with. Now, this isn't easy. It isn't meant to be. The road to abundance is littered with the remnants of those who started strong but faltered at the first sign of discomfort. It's tempting to quit when the results don't come overnight, to blame external forces, to say, "It wasn't meant for me." But hear this. The universe isn't withholding abundance from you. You are withholding it from yourself. You are building invisible walls around your own potential because stepping into the light terrifies you more than staying in the shadows. You were not born to drift, to shuffle through life in quiet desperation. You were born to rise, to stand at the helm of your own destiny, to command the seas of opportunity with the ferocity of a mind on fire with purpose. And yes, that requires a shift, a mindset so bold, so unapologetically determined that the world has no choice but to yield to your vision. So decide right now. Are you content to walk the well-worn path of average? Or will you carve your own trail through the wilderness of uncertainty into the promised land of abundance? Because the truth is, abundance is not a privilege. It's a consequence. A consequence of clarity, discipline, vision, and action. It is not found in lucky breaks or chance encounters. It is created, sculpted, earned. The abundance you desire is waiting for you, but it demands that you become someone worthy of receiving it. So, rise up, sharpen your mind like a blade against stone, cultivate clarity like a sculptor shaping marble, Demand of yourself the discipline that others fear. And in doing so, watch as the world bends to the will of your unwavering conviction. This is the moment. Right now, not tomorrow. Not when conditions are perfect. Not when the fear subsides. Now. Because now is when you decide to either live by default or design a life of wealth, purpose, and unshakable abundance. You see, the ones who rise to abundance aren't born with perfect circumstances or gifted with secret advantages. They are the ones who, in the silence of the night, when doubt whispers loudest, decide that no obstacle will break their will. They are the ones who embrace the discomfort, who stare into the chaos and say, "I will not fold. I will not yield. I will forge ahead, no matter how hard the winds rage against me." Because here's the raw truth most aren't ready to hear. Discipline is the gateway to freedom. While the world tells you to follow your passions and chase what feels good, true abundance is reserved for those who wake up every day and do what needs to be done, regardless of mood or circumstance. It's for the ones who understand that action comes first, feeling second. That clarity isn't found in waiting for motivation to strike. It's found in showing up, day after day, and grinding the blade of your purpose against the stone of your resistance. Think of Lincoln, navigating the treacherous seas of a divided nation, his clarity piercing through storms of doubt. Think of Ford, envisioning a world where cars were not a luxury but a necessity, battling every financial and technological barrier to make it real. These were men who understood that the vision must be held with iron fists, that the discipline to act daily, even when the results are invisible, is what separates the few from the many. And you, yes, you, are being called to that same level of unwavering commitment. Understand this. Discipline is not punishment, it is liberation. It is the key that unlocks the mind's potential to transcend the limits of habit, laziness, and distraction. When you harness it, when you command it with the intensity of a warrior preparing for battle, you create a life where abundance is no longer a distant hope, but an inevitable reality. But discipline alone isn't enough. It must be paired with clarity, the sharp, laser-like focus that cuts through the noise of the world. Clarity is not simply knowing what you want, it's the unrelenting ability to keep your eyes on it, to visualize it with such vivid detail that the mind has no choice but to align every thought, action, and intention toward its achievement. Clarity turns vague dreams into concrete realities. It transforms the abstract into the actionable. When Carnegie set his sights on dominating the steel industry, he didn't merely hope for wealth. He envisioned it with crystal clarity. He saw the mills, the railroads, the bridges his steel would build. He saw the empire before a single brick was laid. That clarity became his compass, guiding every decision, every risk, every sleepless night. And that same clarity is waiting for you. What is your vision? Not just a wish, but a vivid, unshakable picture of the life you're committed to creating. Can you see it so clearly that it becomes more real than your current circumstances? Can you close your eyes and feel the texture of your success, taste the victory, hear the applause of your own soul finally rising to its full potential? Because until you do, you will remain at the mercy of distractions, doubts, and detours. The mind cannot hit a target it cannot see. Clarity is the sight line, the aiming point, the destination. Without it, you're not climbing a mountain. You're wandering a forest with no map, no compass, no hope of reaching the summit. But with clarity, with discipline, with an unrelenting commitment to action, you become unstoppable. You become the one others whisper about in awe, the one who defied the odds, the one who refused to be average. And action, action, is where dreams meet reality. It's not enough to think, not enough to plan, not enough to read, listen, and dream. You must move. You must act with a ferocity that ignites momentum, that shatters inertia, that tells the world, I am here and I will not be denied. Do not wait for perfect conditions. They do not exist. Edison didn't wait for the perfect lab, he created it. Disney didn't wait for the perfect investors. He painted his dream with whatever brush he could find. Ford didn't wait for the world to demand his product. He built it until they couldn't ignore him. And you cannot wait for motivation, for approval, for guarantees. You must move now. Your abundance is waiting, but it will not chase you. You must chase it with the hunger of a lion unleashed from its cage. Every day you hesitate, every moment you delay, the life you desire drifts further away. But every action you take, no matter how small, draws it closer, solidifies it, anchors it in reality. There is no force more powerful than a human mind set on fire by purpose and driven by relentless action. So decide, right now, to act. Not tomorrow. Not when you feel ready, not when the world gives you permission. Now, because the clock is ticking and your dreams are waiting. This is the mindset shift. This is the line in the sand. Average or abundant. Mediocre or magnificent. Comfortable or courageous. The choice is yours, and it always has been. But abundance is not a destination you reach by accident. It is a summit, conquered by the fierce, the disciplined, the clear-minded, the unstoppable. It is a crown earned by those who refuse to bow to the ordinary, and the climb begins now. But the journey from average to abundant is not a straight path. It is a mountain strewn with the bones of those who thought they could reach the summit. Without falling, without bleeding, without breaking and rebuilding themselves. Resilience is the armor you must forge in the fires of adversity. Because here's what no one tells you. Setbacks are not signs to stop. They are signs to strengthen. Failure is not the enemy. It is the mentor, the sculptor of character, the silent architect of perseverance. Edison failed 1,000 times before he found the filament that lit the world. Ford watched his first company crumble into dust before he mastered the assembly line. Disney was rejected, bankrupted, laughed at until he wasn't, and you will fall. You will hit walls so high they seem insurmountable. You will face days when the weight of doubt feels heavier than iron. But it is in those moments that you must remember, the abundant don't retreat, they adapt. They don't surrender to circumstance, they evolve, they adjust, they learn. Adaptability is not weakness, it is survival. It is the capacity to bend without breaking, to pivot without losing. In sight of the destination, when the winds of life shift, when the storms come without warning, the abundant-minded don't collapse. They adjust the sails and press forward. They embrace change not as a threat, but as an ally, an opportunity to rise above the chaos and claim new ground. But adaptability without learning is just blind reaction. To move from average to abundant, you must become a voracious student of life. You must devour knowledge, seek wisdom, extract lessons from every success and every failure. Carnegie read, listened, studied relentlessly. Lincoln immersed himself in the law and the lessons of leadership. Hill himself spent decades interviewing the giants of industry, mining their minds for the gold of wisdom. Learning is the fuel of growth. It is the chisel that carves clarity from confusion, the light that cuts through the fog of doubt. But it is not passive. It is not simply absorbing information. It is active engagement with the world, a relentless curiosity, an insatiable hunger for mastery. Are you willing to be that student? To admit you don't know it all? To humble yourself before the vast, endless fields of knowledge and say, teach me, show me, refine me. Because the abundant-minded are not afraid to learn. They are afraid to remain ignorant. And so, armed with resilience, adaptability, and learning, you must step into the storm with conviction. Not with arrogance, not with recklessness, but with the steady, measured confidence of one who knows that the battle has already been won in the mind before the first shot is fired. Picture a general before the decisive battle. His strategy isn't chaos, it's clarity. His troops aren't frantic, they're focused. His movements aren't reactive, they're deliberate. You must become that general, commanding your life with precision, with focus sharpened by learning, with adaptability ready to pivot at a moment's notice, with resilience forged in the fire of past failures. And through it all, there is one more element that must not be overlooked. Gratitude. Not the soft, sentimental kind that whispers thanks in comfort, but the fierce, unyielding gratitude that says, I will honor every moment, every challenge, every lesson, because it is shaping me into the person who can bear the weight of abundance. Gratitude is the secret ingredient, the invisible glue that holds the entire structure together. Without it, ambition becomes greed. Without it, discipline becomes tyranny. Without it, action becomes hollow. But with it, every step forward becomes a triumph. Every obstacle a gift, every failure a lesson that draws you closer to the summit. So take a breath, feel the fire igniting in your chest. Feel the weight of your old, average mindset crumbling into dust beneath your feet. Feel the surge of clarity, the tightening of discipline, the gathering storm of action. This is no longer theory. This is no longer distant hope. This is now. And now is when you rise. Now is when you stop waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect opportunity, the perfect plan. Now is when you seize the tools you have, the knowledge you've gained, the fire in your belly, and build a life that roars with purpose, power, and unstoppable momentum. Because make no mistake, the world does not hand out abundance like prizes at a carnival. It is earned, forged, seized. It is the spoils of those who refuse to bow, who refuse to settle, who refuse to accept that good enough is good enough. It is yours, if you are willing to pay the price. The price of discipline, the price of clarity, the price of resilience, the price of endless learning, the price of relentless, unflinching action. And in the end, when you stand at the summit, when the winds of your past whip around you and the world looks up in awe, you will not be the same. You will not be average. You will be abundant, unstoppable, a force of nature carved by your own hands and mind. This is not a dream. This is not a fantasy. This is a decision. A decision to rise, a decision to act, a decision to refuse average, embrace abundance, and become the architect of your destiny. And the time to decide is not tomorrow. It is not next year. It is not when you feel ready. It is now.